I spent 100 days in Rimworld, raiding and cracking ancient dangers, amassing huge wealth, and most importantly, powerful weapons to perform the ultimate raid. With an ideology focused on raiding and trading, this story is about to unfold. But first, please save this alpaca by mashing the subscribe button. He lost his legs in an awful work-related accident and needs your help. Now back to the video. Our journey started with Ghoulie and Mallard, two banished tribals with only one goal.
Raid everything.
The first thing to get out of the way was a wild timber wolf. And with Ghoulie's amazing archery skills, they managed to kill it. They looted some furniture and decided to take shelter next to the ancient danger. Mallard started building the animal pen because if they want to trade their spoils, they will need pack animals to help them carry it. Right after Ghoulie tamed the first horse, the boys went to bed. The very next morning, Ghoulie started mining jade, a valuable and nice looking piece of stone, out of which we will make sculptures. Wood is quick enough to build with, so no excuses for the nomads to live in the rubble. Mallard made the base a lot more pretty. Ghoulie tamed an alpaca and we named him Georgie. Being nomads, we didn't plan on making a farm, so at the end of the day, we needed to pick some berries and hunt some turkey. To prevent food poisoning, we made a separate cooking area, which would be a lot cleaner than our main base. And Mallard made the art bench. A trader visited, but we didn't really have something to trade. We thought up a most creative name for the faction and the colony, and then it was time to start preparing the opening of the ancient tomb. They gathered some more supplies, cooked some meals, and then it was time to crack that bad boy open. Ghoulie started deconstructing the wall and the ancient compound opened. Mechanoids. Meanwhile, a trader stopped by so they could conveniently help us out here. The mechanoids were easily killed by the traps and the last one was killed by the traders. Next up, the ancients. Ghoulie managed to assist the two friendly ones in getting away. But the hostile ancient were armed to the teeth with highly technologically advanced equipment. They engaged the traders who wouldn't stand a chance against them. Mallard and Ghoulie snuck in the rear side of the complex, stripping down the ancients and putting on their powerful gear. Meanwhile, the traders were taking big casualties, but managed to kill one of the ancients. Mallard and Ghoulie, well equipped with their new gear, went after the last ancient piece of scum. And killed him! This ancient danger was a great success. It gave them great weapons, amazing armor, and it tasted like more. The boys took some time to clean up the mess, and a trader came in. They sold some of the recently acquired goodies and bought back a psychic shock lance, which could come in handy in the future. They took a few days to gather all that was valuable and packed up, preparing for the big trip ahead of them. Just joking. They resettled just a few tiles away, enough to fill their nomadic needs, which gave them a crazy plus 30 moodlet. So two now happy boys were settling down and were already dreaming of that next juicy ancient danger. A girl named Madeline crashed in a pod nearby. We took her as a prisoner and locked her into a nearby ruin. The pack animals were starving, so we had to increase the size of the pen so they could graze. We got a quest to take care of some culture-loving hippie that wouldn't work, but we accepted because we would get a pain stopper. In preparation for the ancient danger, Mallard made himself a jade club, which would work great against potential mechanoids. They hunted some muffalos and had a great time playing hoopstones together. What am I looking at? The first day of September, we got the first royalty quest and killed the ferocious guinea pig. And then, during the eclipse, it was time to crack open the second ancient danger. My fears became reality. It housed a centipede. The wooden spike traps did nothing to his armor. Mallard rushed in and tanked the centipede so it wouldn't shoot, while Ghoulie stood on a safe distance and shot it with his battle rifle. It took a long time, but we killed it! One of the ancients had some great gear, so we captured and stripped her. Raiding ancient dangers turned out to be a very lucrative business. Ghoulie and Mallard set up a caravan to sell the recent spoils to their neighbors, and they bought back Ape Psychic Insanity Lands. Because why not? On the way home, they'd made a little detour and raided a logging worksite, which was easy enough. Finally, we could send Jane back. Friggin' waste of food she was. And we finally got our first raid. But it was actually quite disappointing. But hey, it still got us 2 prisoners. Ghoulie tried to harvest some of their organs, but that didn't really work out. He got his bestowing ceremony and got a nice stun attack. And Mallard was busy pre-making the spike traps for the next ancient danger. We needed some food, so Ghoulie went to raid a hunting site all by himself. Oh, it feels so good taking advantage of someone else's labor. We're getting raided? Well, good luck, Mallard. With Ghoulie away, Mallard had to do it all by himself. He decided to play it safe and shot the one we wanted to capture with the shock lance and just clubbed the second one. Shooting Strike with the shock lance was an expensive choice. We bought the shock lance for 800 silver, so with 2 charges that's 400 silver per shot. But I promise you it'll be worth it. Ghoulie and Mallard set up a caravan and packed up all their stuff again in search of a new ancient danger. Mallard prepared the spike traps on beforehand, so the plan was to clear the ancient danger and make the base inside of it. This ancient danger housed only insects, which were no match for Le Boys. One of the ancients had some nice pieces of armor on, so Mallard used the shock lance to keep him alive. And the other one... yeah. The next few days were a bit, messy. You see, we needed to bring everything inside the ancient danger, including the animals, or else they would roam away. So the floor was littered with items, dead bodies and food. There were colonists, prisoners and animals running around. Oh, Rimworld. Bruh. A nurse named Boyer wanted to join. I didn't really trust it at first, but she had good medical skills, so it was worth the risk. Oh yeah, bulk goods trader. We traded some of our loot for meat, just before we wanted to start eating the insects. Lucky buggers. The animal situation was getting a bit, out of hand. So we had to start working on the animal pen. Then our prisoner Madeline finally joined. She had great plant skills and, well, yeah, let's say she can hold a gun. There was a second ancient danger on this map, so we started setting traps around it. In some kind of tribal slash high-tech slash big ol' mess ceremony, we made Ghoulie into the priest and let him convert Boyer, because she was still a non-believer. And now it was time to open the 4th ancient danger. Mechanoids again, and they were pretty easily dealt with. The ancients inside the tomb had some nice armor, so we captured them and stole their attire. Conveniently, a royal tribute collector visited the next day, and we could sell all our prisoners for honor, except Strike. This made Ghoulie eligible to become acolyte to the Empire. One more rank and he will become knight, which makes us able to trade with the Empire. We will then move next to them and prepare for the great assault. Good guys are we, because we gave money to some beggars, and a mech cluster landed on our map. The next day we took it to them and our super team adequately dealt with them. Strike, aka Insane Shooting Skill Boy, joined just a few days later and got properly dressed. Ghoulie and Mallard went on a little trip to find another ancient danger and decided to open this one on the spot. A centipede and 2 scythers defending a Persona mono sword. Ghoulie distracted the mechanoids while Mallard snuck into the ancient danger to grab the mono sword, after which they killed the mechanoids. The ancients peacefully gave us their belongings and the boys went back home. We killed 3 grizzly bears for a quest, which made Ghoulie be able to become knight. Strike was promoted to shooting specialist, which made him unable to do most tasks, but he sucked at those anyway. We got Toxic Speward, an event that covers everyone in green poisonous sludge, and we sent the boys to clear out those pesky pirates responsible. We got a quest to trade in shitty weather for a great researcher. With now 4 competent warriors, the group was confident enough to take on an ancient danger without traps. It was kinda sloppy, but we still did it. Since Ghoulie was now a noble, he also wanted to be treated like one. He got his very own throne room, where he was then knighted. Hooray! Time for another ancient danger. And this was a shiny one. The group was strong, heavily armored, complete. And with Ghoulie being a knight to the Empire now, it was time to move to a spot a few days away.
We need to go.
Just in between 2 Empire cities. We would now be able to trade with them and acquire even more wealth and arms. For the very last time, we packed up our stuff and left for the longest journey up to now. Upon arrival, we built a pen for the animals and went straight for the ancient danger. It took a little while, but we turned the ancient danger into a full functioning base. With a personal bedroom and a personal throne room for Ghoulie. You whining piece of shit. We raided a tribal camp, because we were bored. And we got ambushed on the way back home. By rabbits. Somehow, the tribals had an orbital mech cluster targeter. So we can now spawn a mech cluster wherever we want. That could come in handy. Cracking ancient dangers has become a daily chore by now. And we needed some target practice. So we attacked a tribal village. It was pretty big and there were like 25 tribals defending it. Just see what happened. By staying on our horses, we could easily kite them. Chalaki lost an eye though, but hey, let's face it, no one actually cares. This success proved that we were strong enough to take on the biggest fish of them all, the capital of South Ithera. Yeah, it's not really their capital, but hey, a man's got a dream. We made sure everyone was ready and then borrowed a shuttle from our friends the Empire. No one would stay behind on this one. We would need everyone in this fight. When the shuttle dropped us, we all took a sip of go juice and started the assault. This base was huge and very well defended. There were turrets and very well equipped mercenaries everywhere. Boyer closed off the back of the cave so we could use it as a choke point to lure the Outlanders into. With everyone in position, it was time to lure them in. The battle in the cave was rough. Madeline aimed the orbital mech cluster targeter just behind the front lines, and then it happened. Just like my CPU, the mountain collapsed because of the mechs crashing into it. Almost all of the enemies were now trapped inside the mountain. Gee, that was anticlimactic. We killed the remaining Outlanders, healed up and special ops through the base to disable all the turrets. I found out we couldn't reform the caravan because there were still living enemies on the map. So we had to mine out and kill those too. Now we could finally return home loaded with gold, silver, jade, weapons and armor, and more meals than we could ever eat before they spoil. And when we finally returned home... Yeah, kids, remember to always leave someone behind to guard your base. Somehow, Ghoulies' bedroom and throne room burned down. Whoopsie. So, was this final raid worth it in the end? Well, probably not. But it was great fun. Anyway, I hope you liked watching the video as much as I did making it. Please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps the channel out. See ya!